Hi everyone, welcome to Sri Chaitanya, welcome to JE Max season number 2. Through this season, we are completely concentrating on a particular topic which is very important for both advanced and mains of that complex numbers is one. Today, we are at the end of complex numbers. So in that part, we are concentrating on the De Moivre's theorem and its applications. This is lesson number 58. So far, we have successfully completed lesson number 57. And if you please don't forget to check the description there. I'm providing all the previous 57 lessons links to you. And if possible, some of the assignments and some of the good question papers also along this video. And that's why please don't forget to check the description. And with this lesson 58, we are completely concentrating on solving the problems of exercise 5.2 of ICON integrated textbook. If you master that textbook, including the workout example, that knowledge is more than sufficient. First, you do that work. Later only, if time permits, then only concentrate on others. This is my suggestion. Okay. Now, today we are concentrating problem number 13 to 16 from exercise 5.2. Now, see. This is the beautiful question. They asked this question in advanced examination. All these problems, they are not at all useful for board examination. They are a little bit advanced one. Mainly, they are very important for JE mains and advanced only. So, read the statement properly. If the line segment joining two of the nth roots of unity subtends right angle, because n roots, for nth roots of unity, you will get n different roots. And any two, suppose angle between any two of them is 90 degrees, at what? At origin. Then we have to show that n is a multiple of 4. Okay. So here, for that, what I am doing is, see, consider this is my one root, because this is one of my nth root, cos of 2k1 pi by n, I sin of 2k1 pi by n. Similarly, z2 equal to cos of 2k2 pi by n plus I sin 2k2 pi by n. See, say suppose, diagram may be wrong, but for estimation, rough estimation point of view, only I am drawing the diagram like this. So this is z1 and this is z2. Now angle between these two is 90 degrees. Suppose this is a situation, or I can do like this. Suppose this is the situation. These two are any two roots. Now angle between these two is 90 degrees. This is given for you. Then you have to show that n is what? Multiple of 4. That means difference between the angles is what? So angle of first complex number is argument is 2k1 pi by n, whereas angle of second complex number is argument of second complex number is 2k2 pi by n. Whenever it is given that they are subtends 90 degrees at the center, means difference between the arguments of these two complex numbers is 90 degrees. Since they have not mentioned any direction, that's why conveniently I have taken it is plus or minus pi by 2. So this step is the crucial step. Whenever angle between the two complex numbers is something has been given for you, that means difference between their amplitudes is that angle. That is the funda. So after calculation, if pi gets cancelled and after simplification, you will get 4 into k1 minus k2 equal to plus or minus n. And of course, my friends, these two are the two different roots. That means k1 not equal to k2. And moreover, they are integers. That means LHS is an integer. 4 into some integer is integer. And RHS, plus or minus n, that is also an integer. That too, n is equal to 4 into some integer means it is a multiple of 4 only. So n should be in the form of what? 4k. That means n is a multiple of 4. Because if anything has written 4 into some integer, then that should be the multiple of 4. This is the beautiful proof. Here the important point is they subtends 90 degrees, angle subtends 90 degrees at origin means difference between their arguments of the complex numbers is 90 degrees. That is the funda. If you have applied this funda, you will get the answer very easily and immediately. Now coming to problem number 14. Yeah, log of 1 plus I. Actually, I told you. Actually, this is not there in your syllabus. But even then, already I told in JE mains and in JE advanced examination and even MSET examination also, they have asked this question. For that, already I have given the formula for you. If you just watch our previous videos, there I have given this formula. So your job is what? Log of 1 plus I is half into log of 1 square plus 1 square plus I arg z. What is amplitude? Amplitude is tan inverse 1. So this is simply what? Half log 1 plus 1, 2 plus I, arg z is what? Pi by 4. But I want real part only. So this is the real part. Enough. And moreover, here only logarithm base e is given, small l is given. So this is principal argument. And they are asking you to find the real part only. So my answer is what? Half log 2. Okay, na? Now coming to 15th problem. Listen this question properly. N is a positive integer such that xn plus I yn equal to 1 plus root 3i whole power n. Then show that xn minus 1 yn minus xn yn minus 1 equal to something. So while looking the given option, so it must be, we have to collect some real part or imaginary part of some product. So already in the question, xn minus 1 and xn is there and yn minus 1 are there. Therefore, since I know xn plus I yn, why don't I find xn minus 1 plus in minus 1? Let us see the hint here. So this is given for me. And conveniently, I have written this in the polar form. So this can be written as 2 power n into cos n pi by 3 plus I sin n pi by 3 plus. So what is xn minus 1? What is my xn minus 1 plus I yn minus 1? Simply that is 2 power n minus 1 cos of n minus 1 pi by 3 plus I sin of n minus 1 pi by 3. No problem. Now, according to the given question, that this part is nothing but the imaginary part of this product. So now what I am doing is, now I have multiplied these two and now I am collecting the imaginary parts. That's why consider imaginary part of Im means imaginary part of xn plus I yn into xn minus 1 minus I yn minus 1 equal to, okay. So this is xn minus 1 yn minus xn yn minus 1. This is the imaginary part. So if I have multiplied these two, this becomes 2 power n 2n minus 1 sin a cos b minus cos a sin b. Sin a cos b minus cos a sin b means what? Sin a minus b. You simplify this, you will get the straight away the given answer. So it is a beautiful application. Only thing is, by looking the given question immediately in your mind, okay, this is nothing but imaginary part or real part. It depends upon the question. Imaginary part or real part of some product. What is that product? How to get that product? That is the only thing. With the practice only, you can get this kind of ideas immediately. So this is one way, the most important problem, and this kind of model we may expect in advanced and even mains examination in the integer form of the questions also. Okay. Hope next 16th problem. See the question. If n is a positive integer, what is given? N is positive integer. Prove that all the values of x satisfying x plus 1 whole power n equal to x minus 1 whole power n lie on a straight line. So this is given for me x plus 1 whole power n equal to x minus 1 whole power n. Nothing but what? X plus 1 by x minus 1 equal to 1 power 1 by n. Can I write like this? This is what? Cos. This is cos 0 plus I sin 0. So cos n pi plus I sin n pi. I can write like this. Okay. Because simply, yes, general value I have written because 1 by n is there. That's why. So now apply componendum dividendum. That means x plus 1 plus x minus 1 by x plus 1 minus x plus 1 equal to cos n pi plus I sin n pi. Or do one thing. It is better. You cross multiply this. So x plus 1 equal to x minus 1 cis n pi. So this implies x into 1 minus cis n pi equal to minus 1 minus cis n pi. Therefore, what is my x? 1 plus cis n pi by cis n pi minus 1. Cis n pi means 1 plus cos n pi plus I sin n pi by this is cos n pi plus I sin n pi minus 1. So 1 plus cos n pi is 2 cos square n pi by 2 plus 2I sin n pi by 2 cos n pi by 2 by this is cos n pi minus 1, that is minus 2 sin square n pi by 2 plus 2I sin n pi by 2 cos n pi by 2. You take 2 cos n pi by 2 common from the numerator, you will get that as cis n pi by 2 by, you take 2I cos 2I sin n pi by cos n pi by 2 2I sin n pi by 2 common from the denominator, you can get cos n pi by 2 plus I sin n pi by 2. So these two gets cancelled, 2 gets cancelled. So finally I got minus cot n pi by 2. Minus cot n pi by 2. That means I got only what? I cot n pi by 2. So x is equal to, x is a purely real, purely imaginary. Purely imaginary. So automatically the locus of x is what? Locus of x is a straight line. Of course here the straight line is y-axis. It is all y-axis. In the negative part of the y-axis I can say. Okay, now? Therefore the locus is a straight line. Like that. Because this kind of mechanism, and we have been solved several times this kind of models. Only thing is I have just converted the entire form into the known things, and I have applied the De Moivre's theorem brilliantly, and I got the result. Okay, now hope you like this video. You like this, you please share and subscribe my channel, and please don't forget to press the bell icon, and we will meet with the next lesson soon.